Wow, here we are. Another YouTube video. Wow, what's it been? Like 6 months now? Need a cookie here. Today, we're going to be looking at chess puzzles. And to be more specific, we're going to be solving chess puzzles. I know this is the content that you guys have been looking for. Brandon Hatcher solving chess puzzles. That's what the people want. No, but kind of sounds funny to say, but chess has been a big part of my life the last couple years. I've been playing a lot, been studying a lot, practicing a lot. And one thing that I do every day is I solve chess puzzles in and around and above my rating range on chess.com. And I figured I would solve a few of these puzzles today and kind of talk through my thought process and explain how I'm thinking about solving these puzzles in real time. So yeah, this is something I do a lot of. I know there's quite a few people that follow me that are also into chess. I usually end up with the most viewers on Twitch when I stream chess games, which is funny. So I figured I would try making a video where I solve some of these puzzles that I do in my spare time anyway, and turn it into some content. By the way, I think that everybody should, if you have side hobbies or passions that you're really into and you're worried about creating content around them, I think it's worth testing it out, especially if it's something that you're really good at and you can talk thoroughly about in a valuable or entertaining way. I think it's worth trying it out. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to look at a few puzzles. So I'm currently rated around 1300. Chess has an ELO rating system from the low hundreds, or basically from 0 all the way up to grandmasters, and the top players in the world that are professionals are in the upper 2000s, close to 3000 level. I'm a 1300, so that's considered an intermediate player. I'm going to set the rating range of these puzzles to between 1000 and 2000, so the computer is going to give me different levels of problems to solve. There might be a few that I'm not able to solve if they're too difficult and are just outside of my rating range. But yeah, we're gonna try it out. And let me just make sure that you can see this on my screen. Yes, it looks like you can. Okay, so it's white to move in this puzzle. What am I noticing here? The queen just sticks out like a sore thumb, first of all. So I'm noticing if our queen was on this square and this pawn wasn't here defending this square, then it would be checkmate. So reverse engineering that idea, what we can do, and I think this is the solution, is we can use our rook to sacrifice it and take this pawn, which would remove the only defender of this square where we want to deliver checkmate with our queen. And we can sacrifice this rook. Our opponent will capture back with either the rook or with the knight, and then our queen will be able to slide into this square and deliver checkmate. So I think that's what the solution is. Let's try it. Rook takes, and then queen g6 is checkmate. All right, so that one was pretty straightforward. A little tricky at first, but all right, next one. So our opponent's getting ready to promote this pawn. It's black to move here. How are we going to stop it? I think we're going to have to move our knight here to defend this square from our opponent promoting. Once we move our knight here, he's going to bring in this pawn to attack our knight. This has to be the first move. Okay, so that's the first move. And then I think the simplest thing to do is to use this knight to actually blockade this square. Since this pawn is behind it, neither one of them will be able to promote if our knight's here. And this pawn should be able to make it all the way down here before our opponent's pawn makes it to our end of the board. So we're going to use the knight to blockade. Oh, that's right. And then let's see, I'm going to have to do some calculation here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we make it in time, so I don't even think we need to move our king in. I think we can just safely push this pawn and promote it. And that's the solution for that one. Okay, so we've got, took our knight. Okay, in these types of positions, I like to just count all the material. So we've got 6 pawns. Opponent has 4. We just lost a knight, so we've only got 3 minor pieces. Our opponent has all 4 of their minor pieces, and we've got all the rooks and queens on the board. So down a knight. Now that I look at it and have this pattern recognition, it's actually a lot easier of a problem to solve than I realized, but I still like to have the practice of counting all the pieces like that. So I'm noticing that the king can't access this square, or this square, or this square currently, because our bishop defends here, and then our bishop and our queen defends this diagonal. So as of right now, the king only has these two squares. So if we were to slide in with our queen here, which would be defended by our bishop and the king couldn't take it, if we were to slide in with our queen, we would cut off this diagonal. This is already cut off, this is cut off, and our king, the opponent's king, would only have this square. And in that position with our queen here, the king moves back, we'll be able to step in with our queen. No, that wouldn't actually be checkmate, because then we'd give up this square. So what it is we're going to come here with our queen. Opponent's going to be forced to step back with his king to f8. Then we're going to come in with the bishop, and then that's going to be the checkmating square. So queen g6, and then bishop g7 is checkmate. That was a nice one. It's really pretty. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, the very first thing I noticed is that our rooks are doubled. So we've got a little battery going on this file. And the first thing I noticed is just sacrificing the queen here, which is going to be a move with check, which would force the king to either move or for our opponent to capture with his pawn. And if we do sack the queen here, they capture with the pawn, we come in with the rook with check. King is forced to step here to h7. And then I think if we bring this bishop to f5, that should be checkmate. Are you following all of this? Okay, so takes here. Attack the king. King moves here to his only square. Bishop here. I think that's the solution. Because once we sacrifice the queen, the king's going to be forced to either move, or what's likely going to happen is they're going to capture with the pawn. So let's try it. It's a big move, sacrificing the queen. Then we're going to go check, and then mate. That was very satisfying. That was a good one. All right, I think maybe we'll do one more. Okay, it's black to move. Unfortunately, this is a simple one, but I'm also 1300, and I would assume that your average player, especially beginners, are not going to easily be able to see this move. But I'm noticing that the bishop is covering this diagonal, so the only square accessible to our opponent's king is g1. And what we can do is, that's why the queen is the best piece, because it can move in so many different directions, but we can step in with our queen, swing it over to c1 to give a check using the whole board. And the only way that our opponent will be able to prevent checkmate at that point would be to either bring their bishop back to block it or bring the rook back to block it. But it doesn't matter which piece they bring back, because we're then going to be able to take with our rook and have checkmate. We're going to start with the queen, and our opponent decides to go and bring the bishop back. So we could take our opponent's rook, but that's not a forcing enough move. What we're going to have to do is This is another queen sacrifice. We're going to have to take our opponent's bishop with the queen, which would force a move. Because it literally threatens checkmate if they don't capture back with the rook, then allowing us to capture back with our rook and delivering checkmate. So we're going to sacrifice the queen again and then take our opponent's rook with checkmate. That was a really good one. All right, that's all I got for now, guys. Hope that was somewhat enjoyable to a few of you. Hope you were able to follow along with those problems and my explanations. And I think we'll leave it at that for this video. If any of you guys are into chess, hit me up. Let me know. I'm B_hatch on chess.com. Let's get in a few games. I'm happy to make some videos with you guys if you'd like. And let me know if you guys want to see any more content like this. See ya.